From the Opubco Studios at Britain and Broadway, you're listening to a News OK podcast.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to a comics podcast at newsok.com. I'm Matt Price. I'm here with Kyle Roberts. And we have got an anniversary week of action-packed comics.
That's right.
Let me start off by congratulating our friends at Top Cow Comics. Their series, The Darkness, they have combined all three series that they had into one unbroken line now and released the 75th issue, Darkness number 75. It's written by Phil Hester, who you might remember from Green Arrow, and he has written sort of It's a Horrible Life take on the darkness as Jackie Estacado, the hitman who is imbued with the powers of the darkness, sees his future in which he becomes a global tyrant. So it's a very good issue, and I think it's worth checking out. Also, if you want to get caught up or get caught into the world of the darkness pretty cheaply, Darkness Accursed is a trade paperback, $4.99 out this week, collecting Phil Hester's first issues on the book. So that's one anniversary issue that I wanted to recommend.
Yeah,
You've got another
that's
one.
Darkness 75. Good job.
Yeah.
And then speaking of dark rain, follow along with that. It's Thor number 600.
Yeah, another.
This is over 100 pages.
It's a huge comic.
That's right.
You get two main brand new stories, and then another kind of cartoony backup story. I mean,
a mini Marvels.
Right. It is completely, and then in the back you've got
every single Thor cover ever.
Yeah,
so
that's pretty amazing.
$599, or maybe this one too. I don't know.
Yeah.
Every single Thor cover ever is in the very back.
In the very back, and then Stan Lee and Jack Kirby backup stories from Thor.
That's right.
Stan Lee actually writes a new issue, a new comic for this issue, and then the main story is just amazing.
Well.
Yeah,
it's basically just an epic battle between Thor and Bor, which is kind of a past fallen god.
Yeah,
and
Thor's grandfather essentially.
Loki is still a woman, and Dark Avengers are in it. So it's jam packed.
Loki is setting up Thor to make a mistake here. He pulls Balder in, and then he sets up possibly a new status quo for Thor. Hopefully he doesn't leave Oklahoma, because we like having him around in case there's ever any danger. But J. Michael Straczynski, the writer, Oliver Coipel, the artist, they have done really the main story is a great, pretty great epic. And then it's followed up with all these neat backup stories. Even though it is a $5 comic, which is a lot, man, it's 100-something pages. That is
really
totally
it's just
worth it.
$1 more than these other comics we got here.
Yeah, exactly. So we both like Thor 600.
As a Thor fan or even a Marvel fan, this is a must-have.
Yeah, and again, it brings Thor, does tie into Dark Avengers, so it's kind of got some Dark Reign type tie-ins as well.
That's right.
Also, we looked at Neil Gaiman and Andy Kubert on Batman, number 686, the beginning of the two-part Whatever Happened to the Caped Crusader. It's kind of a metatextual Batman tale. It's probably supposed to work on multiple levels here. Batman's friends and foes arrive at Batman's funeral, and we hear alternate stories about how Batman died that obviously don't seem to quite match up with each other. Batman himself is discussing this story with someone, seemingly seeing it from afar somehow, and trying to figure out what is this mystery of his own death. So Neil Gaiman, of course, from Sandman. He's written a lot of great books. He's won Hugo and Nebula Awards. So this is not a straightforward Batman story by any means, but if you want something that's a little deeper, that works on the level of what do we think about storytelling, what do we think about our heroes and legends, then this is absolutely worth picking up.
Does this kind of feel like Death of Captain America to you, or not really?
Death of Captain America, while very good, is a little more straightforward. I think what you're looking at more is, this is closer to what Neil did in Sandman with maybe the death of that character than what you would get in your typical, death of Superman or Captain America, where it's obvious. Obviously, what's happened with the death of Batman the whole time has been kind of confusing, and is he really dead? And probably not. So this is more meditation. Obviously, what they're referencing here is Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow, the classic Alan Moore story that was sort of the last Silver Age Superman tale. So obviously that's kind of what they're referencing, and I think that's kind of also what they're going for. While it's maybe a Batman, like a last Batman story, it's done so with the idea of Batman as sort of a legendary character.
Okay.
And then finally, we'll wrap up with X-Men Origins Sabretooth. This is written by Kieran Gillen, the video game journalist that also has written Phonogram and several other comics. And this one was bloody.
Yeah, the art on it was kind of confusing because it was somewhat cartoony, but also very bloody at the same time. So, and very dark. But basically, the theme of this comic is you get the idea of Sabretooth beast inside of him, even as a young kid. Basically killing his parents.
Mm-hmm.
So, I know you just really get the idea of, okay, Wolverine has the beast inside of him. Everyone knows that, but he can control a little bit more. And Sabretooth is just total rage.
It almost
really get that feeling.
Seems like you're saying Wolverine is a human that has a beast he's trying to control, whereas Sabretooth is just a beast that happens to be in human form almost. Right. Dan Panosian is the artist, and I actually thought it was really easy to follow. Style-wise, I guess I can see kind of what you're saying, but I actually thought it worked a little bit by making it. I mean, if you had this in an uber-realistic style, it would be hard to maybe stomach reading this whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I like it. It's different.
Very violent, not for the kiddies, but if you're a Sabretooth fan or you want to see some Wolverine Sabretooth throwdowns, then this is probably a good one for you to check out. So really a good week, man. I felt really good about all of these. We've had some weeks where I haven't felt this good about any of them, and I felt pretty good about all of them. I'm going to go with Thor as my pick, despite liking all of them.
Yeah, I'll go with Sabretooth. It is kind of a toss-up this week, but I like the Sabretooth comic.
All right, so everybody, thanks for watching. I'm Matt Price, and this is Kyle Roberts. See you next week.